Happy Monday, rainy day here in San Francisco. JVL at the Bulwark has a great newsletter that came out this morning. He puts out a daily newsletter called the Triad, and it's just called Are You Antifa? And he walks through pretty methodically a lot of the stuff that I've been talking about in my videos over the last couple of weeks about Trump, his recent executive orders designating Antifa as a domestic terror organization, and his NSPM7 and as a way to criminalize Antifa and use the resources of the executive branch of the federal government against everybody who voted for Kamala Harris in 2024. And he ties it in with the rhetoric that I've been talking about that we've seen over the last week with their little Antifa roundtable at the White House, and the rhetoric of cabinet officials, of Donald Trump, the president, J.D. Vance, the vice president, and several of his cabinet members, and multiple elected Republicans in the House, talking about the No Kings protest marches that are going to take place this coming Saturday, October 18th, describing them as Antifa rallies, hate America rallies, Marxist rallies, pro-Hamas rallies. Really, really disgusting shit. Classifying almost 80 million Americans who disagree with this administration and voted against this administration as domestic terrorists, presumably subjecting all of us to arrest. And I had added in that, look at it from the perspective of how we treated alleged Middle Eastern terrorists following 9/11. I mean, we had a global network of CIA black sites where we just abducted people and disappeared them and tortured them. I mean, they couldn't prosecute Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the mastermind and coordinator behind the 9/11 attacks, because we tortured him. And so many of his statements that we got from him were gained through things like waterboarding. And if you don't think that Donald Trump and Stephen Miller want to waterboard and torture and disappear Americans who disagree with them politically, I think you're nuts. But anyway, everybody who follows me should be subscribed to the Bulwark and sign up for JVL's morning newsletter. I read it every day, even though Sarah and Tim don't. Sorry, inside joke. But you could also get their Next Level podcast where they joke about that pretty frequently. But this administration wants to criminalize dissent. I mean, criminalize. Make it a criminal offense to disagree with this president and this president's policies. And specifically protesting against this administration and protesting against ICE and their lawless war criminal tactics and what they're doing in the streets of the United States. It's really scary shit. And I hate to say it, but I think before the end of the year, we're going to have a repeat of a Kent State kind of moment where unarmed American civilian protesters are going to be confronted either by these ICE assholes or some other federal law enforcement or National Guard troops, and some young soldier's going to get buggy and fire his weapon into a crowd. And we're going to have dead Americans in the streets of blue cities and blue states, and the Trump administration will use that to further clamp down and further ramp up the violence that they're committing in the streets of the United States right now. We are in really, 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 really scary territory right now. But also it's like the balls on these guys, man, doing this in a nation with over 400 million firearms that are not all owned by the right. I have 6. And I've had training, and I go to the range, and I practice. We're entering a potentially extremely bloody phase of this. And it's really deeply concerning. It's jarring. It's frightening. And they're not going to stop. They are putting the pedal down, and they are going to keep going. They are going to keep going until there are dead American civilians in the streets of the United States. And I made a video over the weekend that has gotten quite a bit of traction. White people, white liberals, white people on the left, your whiteness is not going to protect you. It's not going to save you from these assholes. If anything, people in this administration and people on the right view us as race traitors because we are against them. And they will justify even harsher treatment for us for that reason. So apart from that, enjoy the rest of your Monday, and please stay safe.